I'm soaking wet.
It's warm, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty warm.
Yeah.
To the point where I've just started hosing myself off in the garden. So I'm pretty soaking wet.
That's good. Yeah, I've left my windows open this week, so if there's any background noise, then it is what it is. I'm not closing them.
Okay, you're fighting the power.
Yeah, because it was everybody else that was holding me to those standards.
Yeah, well, background noise, my mixer's fucked. I think I dropped some lettuce in it or something. And went down the grooves.
Plant it, see if it grows.
Well, out comes music. Oh, he's got the music tree. He's got a good old music tree. Like that weird tree in Mothercare. Who were just
yeah, you press the button.
To the kids.
Yeah, that was weird. Was that in every Mothercare?
They went out of business. I think so. Oh. Was it our local one?
I'm disappointed. I was hoping that was a Stoke exclusive.
We've got the tree that terrifies children. City of culture.
Yeah, we did it. We did have a giant teapot at some point.
Okay.
It was
not
like
a little teapot, short and stout.
No, it was a huge teapot, and it poured water into a teacup. It was in the pottery centre where like B&M is now, or Wilco's or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, well good. Highlight of my childhood.
Look, that's a big teapot, that is.
Yeah, it's massive. Massive.
National pride.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's apparently it's a known issue with the cable, so you just got this weird whiny going on.
So what's the point? Our product doesn't work.
It's the cable that connects, the USB cable that connects to the PC that's done it. I ordered a new one, which arrived like 2 minutes before we recorded, plugged it in, still the same issue.
Oh.
So it's just not happy. So I get another one. I'll get one of those cool podcaster Zoom H6s that everyone talks about. Is that the one you use? I can't remember.
That is the one I use, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like that and now Rodecaster Pro microphones, I think. And now all the podcasters get this. Well, fuck you guys. We've had these for 150 episodes or something.
Yeah, we've been using these for a good chunk of time. We've been using the Zoom since day one because I bought it for like video projects.
Yeah.
Well, no, not day one. We've used it since the first successful recording.
Yeah. All the others were trial software that thought they wanted to be part of the content, so they just kept on giving us notes like, by the way, this is a trial. Do you know this? We're not going to tell you until you look at the post edit. But there you go. Yeah. So that's why the audio's been a bit dodgy for a little while. On top of the fans, but the fans have been sorted. But there's still this weird tinny, high-pitched noise. So I'm starting to use just normal other microphones until I get that replaced. So different quality of audio on my side. But I'm not the audio engineer. I'm not the guy.
No.
So we'll just see what happens. How are you anyway, Steve?
I'm great. I've been doing.
Great.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm just warm. Apart from that, things are good. Things are good professionally. Things are good spiritually, emotionally.
Spiritually.
Yeah, sure.
Your inner radish is being nourished.
Nourished. Yeah. Nourished.
The nourishing of the radish.
Yeah.
Your own
the carrots are coming up. So everything's great.
Potatoes are holding fast.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I
don't know. To learn about all these weird new things you didn't know about. So like apparently, well, you don't have to, but so we planted all our carrots in a row, which is how you do it like that to germinate them, and then once they've germinated, you split them. But before you split them, you have to defend them against the carrot fly, which are like these flies that that can smell carrot from half a mile away.
The sharks of this vegetarian sky world.
Right, yeah. And then if they're about and they smell your carrots, which they
will.
You'll push out a lot of the scent when you start digging them up and separating them to replant them. So like you have to defend the carrots against these fly, and the fly only fly about 4 feet high maximum. So you have to build like a little barrier around your carrots.
Oh, for God's sake.
When you're doing this shit. And if you don't, they come and they lay eggs in and around your carrots, and then the larvae eat them all. So it's like, you either do it or you have no carrots. Or you risk having no carrots anyway. Yeah.
Or you like plant your carrots 4 feet above the ground.
Yeah,
some kind of carrot hammock.
yeah, that would work. That would work too.
Always thinking. All about the automation.
Yeah.
So you've been carrot defending.
Carrot defending, Zoom meetings, which is why I'm wearing the fancy shirt.
The fancy blouse.
Yeah, the fancy blouse. Got birds on it. Blouse and shorts, because it's a Zoom meeting and who cares?
Okay. I wear shorts with pride, but it seems you wear them with secrecy.
I know, but you don't wear...
Secret agent shorts.
You don't typically wear shorts to a meeting.
I do.
An office meeting.
I do.
Yeah, but you're a special case. You scream when they ask you to wear a tie.
Yeah, I've been evicted from a lot of meetings. I didn't understand the problem with Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness when he comes in. He's got holes in his trousers. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But who cares? The fact that you've got holes in your trousers doesn't mean your stocks are going to do worse.
Yeah.
It's just another weird societal...
It's that etiquette thing, isn't it?
Law. Yeah, which I'm starting to not appreciate, but understand a little bit more. Like I was watching another podcast, Bad Friends. It's still very, very good. I lost track of it for a little while, but it's still really good.
Which one was that?
And that's Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. I mean, Your Mum's House podcast as well has done some fucking hilarious things recently. Just in terms of relatability to you and I. They've added a whole sub-story to their whole podcast. There's just like all these weird little plot lines going on that are just brilliant. So like one of their main editors comes up and he's got like a black eye, and like if you understand the story that's gone on, it's like he's been elbowed in the face because of another podcast that was being gone on, and all this kind of stuff. It's so beautiful to see people put more effort and more creativity and stuff. So fucking good. But yeah, I was watching Bad Friends, and I think in the States they started doing this, but it was announced today for us. That people are allowed to gather in groups of 6 or more within a private garden.
Right.
Apparently, that's a deal. And just the idea of being in a space with 6 people that you know, having a conversation with them, when you haven't been doing that for 9 weeks, I think it's been. Well, it was 10 episodes, wasn't it, last week? So...
Yeah.
And we started pretty much on time. So yeah, like 10, 11 weeks, nearly 3 months of not having conversations. It'd be weird to be sat in a garden with other people. So you kind of appreciate the social etiquette or social rulings probably come from that kind of thing. And then just how weird it's going to be when that ends and you all kind of go back into the isolation. It's like a weird little window into society, and then you come back in and pour a bucket of water over yourself and tell yourself that you're fine. Yeah. Social rule. That became because you dared to wear shorts on a Zoom meeting. That's good.
Well, rebel. Like, I'd always taking risks. Yeah.
Yeah.
If sorry, I've just done something that's going to cause a massive fuck up for you in the edit. So look forward to that.
Thanks, man. That's good. Don't worry. It'll just make you look bad. I'll just put a big red X over it.
It will. It will. I'll give you a timestamp.
Okay. I started listening to The Planet.
What did they tell you?
Edit out the planets. I'm still trying to think of more creative stuff to do, to be fair. Well, I need the energy first. I'm all about automation. That's what started to get in my head. I really like automation to the point where we haven't really done any social media for a while.
No.
And it's kind of, we don't like it. And in an ideal world, we would never have to use it. Just email us or Facebook us.
Yeah.
You still use Instagram, but I don't know how much. But like Twitter is just like I don't really know. It's some way of automating it. So I'm still working on the robot. That's a whole thing that's apparently necessary, but it'd be good to get rid of. And automation. There was something else going on about automation, but I can't remember what it was. So you're having a good week fighting the carrot flies, sharks.
Oh yeah. My week's yeah. Can't complain.
You can. I think you already have. You're building a 4-foot high wall to protect your segregated carrots that you're growing. It's just a weird campaign to have in your garden. Put them together so they learn to love one another, and then separate them from their loved ones. And then that'll open them to attack from the fly sharks, and they'll come in. Homegrown carrots are probably pretty good, to be fair.
I should imagine so.
You should imagine the dream. It's the dream, isn't it?
It's the dream. I'm hoping they're really good, but
yeah,
I've never done it before.
Do you think you got a good palate for carrots?
Carrot palate.
Do you think you got a good palate in general, a food palate?
I think so. I think I'm an all right cook, and I think if you can do that, then you must have some idea of flavour. But I'm not like nuanced, I don't think.
All right. Do you remember when I cooked a vindaloo from scratch when I first moved into the house?
Yeah.
How good was it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Vindaloo.
Vindaloo.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I don't know.
Because your palate wasn't that great. See? Case closed.
Maybe I just don't remember mediocre meals.
So it was a 5, is what you're saying.
It could be. Yeah, and 5's not bad.
Yeah. I'm just putting that to test.
You
fucking up more things for me for the edit, are you?
I'm having all kinds of problems. Right, there you go. That's fixed. It all went bizarre for a bit.
All right.
I couldn't hear you.
It's the flies. They're
fine.
They're sieging your house.
Yeah, you might have to just cut out a big chunk of bees right there. But yeah,
flies.
It's fine. I was just really loud for a minute, and then you were really quiet. It's all confusing.
Sabotage. You're under siege.
Yeah.
Yeah. So carrots.
Sorry, I'm destroying the flow of this.
Well, we know that you don't function. You don't enjoy being in the cold. Now it seems like you don't enjoy being in the warm, the very warm, we'll put it.
Yeah.
It's not like hot. It's like, I think hot is outside. If you're outside, it's hot. If you're inside, it's just really warm and horrible.
Yeah, it's. I think it's just stuffiness aggravates me. But to be fair, I've seemed to notice it a lot less than I used to. For some reason, I don't know if it's a weight thing or if it's just I've changed as a person.
Probably started ignoring yourself.
There's a good chance.
As time goes on, I'm just not going to pay as much attention to myself.
I can't listen to this guy anymore.
He hasn't complained in a while.
Go do your carrots.
Yeah. I got pressured into having a milkman this week, which is.
Oh yeah. We were thinking about it for a while, but then Vix doesn't have milk, so it seemed a bit pointless to get one just for me.
Why don't we get loads of milk?
This is my own personal milkman.
Well, they do other stuff. She doesn't drink milk.
No, she went off a lot of dairy stuff. Anything creamy, didn't like it.
Anything creamy? Is that because of your pasty complexion? She just doesn't. That's just transferred.
Potentially.
That blouse, mate. It's too milky.
Yeah, took it out of her tea and her coffee and everything. She just has everything black now.
You took it out of her tea?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right.
I know people have done it, but it's not.
I knew it was a thing, but I thought it was a myth.
With sugar, right?
No, she doesn't have sugar in her tea.
No sugar, just hot leaves.
Yeah.
All right. Your wife, I guess. I'm a fan of your wife. It's good, but she's exhibiting signs of the demons. So she's just boiling leaves and drinking them instead of adding milk. I went through phases with milk, though, to be fair, where like when I went through phases. I used to drink it all the time, and then about 6 months ago or something, I realised I started reacting badly to it, and now I'm fine again.
Her whole family seems to think you're really weird if you drink just milk, and I don't know why. Like, I like it. I like a glass of milk. It's not something I do very often, but I don't see anything weird about it.
Yeah, I'd say like the flavour's not amazing, but there's something satisfying about drinking milk. I think because at a young age I thought it was like healthier than drinking, vodka, or whatever. So it's like, oh yeah, it's good, it's filling, it's nutritious in some way, but it's a weird, like I didn't really enjoy it unless you add loads of sugar to it. Just add sugar to everything, mate. I used to put Ribena in milk. But I was making a statement when I was doing that.
Ribena?
11 years old and making statements, yeah.
Creamy, milky Ribena.
Oh yeah, that separates all the way through. I do it to make a point. I do that, and I'd eat chocolate gatto. That was my that was my politics when I was a kid.
Why?
I'd eat more chocolate gatto than you could imagine, right? And I would also I'd start putting Ribena into my milk. Just to feel the room, you know what I mean?
Someday I'm going to have diabetes and then you'll be sorry.
Yeah, all this cake, all this sugar, it's gonna be fine. I don't even like cake. It was just like it was a food that you could eat fast. So I was like, I'm gonna eat this really fast. So I just ate loads of gatto really quickly. But as a statement, as like, just so you know, you should know this about me if we're gonna be friends, right?
Yeah.
When I have milk, I also have blackcurrant in it. And it's also got to look all weird and separated and curdled. All right? Right, let's move forward.
I mean,
you got that gatto? It's gone now.
We had this discussion with a mutual friend about what is and isn't acceptable for a milkshake, didn't we?
Well, it's kind of a discussion. It was more of a TED talk, wasn't it? I mean, I had to explain to him that like all milkshakes are milkshakes, even if you put lemon in it. Yeah. He was like, no, because it's curdled. It's like, no, that's science. We don't accept that here. That's fine.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that mutual friend in a while, actually.
You can have a strawberry milkshake and everyone's fine and accepting of that. So why not a blackcurrant milkshake, a Ribena milkshake?
Well, this was the thing. I was working in a restaurant a few years ago and they served lime milkshakes. It was a New Zealand restaurant. And it was like, oh, it's actually quite nice. And I was surprised. So it was like, yeah. And then it was like, I think that's how the conversation on the podcast started anyway. Then, yeah, you can have a milkshake with anything. Yeah. You can have a pastry milkshake if you want. I'm sure that's fine. Sausage milkshake. I know I did a trial shift at a restaurant that did bacon milkshakes. Yeah. But people are stupid about bacon anyway.
Yeah, the bacon craze. Has it died down? Do you feel like it's died down a bit? Everyone was mental over bacon for a while.
I've just stopped talking to most people, so I haven't heard most of it. You know
so what I mean? Everything's died down.
The same thing that we're just ignoring ourselves more and more and podcasting about it. Yeah, like the same thing as like I was like, it's for me it's strange for someone. My reaction of someone drinking tea without milk is how people will react if you said you don't want any bacon. They're like, what? And it'd just be the weird confrontations that no, it's just I don't understand why you think you love bacon. Yeah, it's a social thing of like, I drink my the only whiskey I drink is Scotch. Oh yeah, well the only whiskey I drink is Irish, and it's only if it's been in a square barrel, you know, whatever it can be to make yourself appear to be more, I guess. And people did it with milk, so people do it with everything. Yeah.
People do it with everything.
Yeah, there's any way to explore yourself. So yeah, the heat wave that's going on. Oh, I had a quick look online because today I started to feel it, and I just decided to start hosing myself down. Well, more accurately, wearing wet clothes just felt like that would cool me down, so I just started doing that. Yeah. But I did look at the NHS website about what you can do with the hot weather and how to react best to it. So there's two things you can do before it gets hot. So it's good that you've heard it now. Number one, just see if your heating system can actually turn off. That's a good thing to know about your house. If your heating system can never turn off, you're going to have a bad summer.
Yeah. I don't think ours has been turned on since February.
I can't remember. I'm comfortable in all I'm always ready in all climates. So I'll happily only have a month worth of heating or something. Yeah. Or just have it off. And the second piece you can do before it gets hot is to start growing plants inside and outside so you've got more shade. Have you ever thought about growing a palm tree inside your house to give yourself more shade?
No, I would just close the curtain, maybe.
You're indoors. Mark's growing a tree in his bathroom.
Yeah, it's like unless you live
won't get me.
Unless you live in a greenhouse, what the fuck? What's going on?
But good advice, I guess. Yeah. I'm sure it works.
Well, I need one because I have to be by a window at all times. I just don't want the sun.
They're basically saying like it can be cooler outside in the shade than inside your house at certain points. Right. That makes sense. But don't grow red trees in your beauty room or whatever it is. But when it is actually hot, try going to a colder part of the house. Good advice.
If it's hot where you are, go where it's not.
Basically. Again, it's good advice. It's just when I read it, it wasn't anything groundbreaking. I was trying to figure out how to fix something. So it could be cooler outside of the house at certain times. And it says, for example, why not go to church? Well, it says places of worship, right? But
big buildings that are difficult to heat, that makes sense. I can't imagine it being warm in a massive, like hot in a massive church.
Yeah, I guess. It also says you can also go to a library. A little bit less sense. I've always thought of libraries as stuffy.
Why surround yourself with kindling?
Just put a magnifying glass outside and burn to death.
Yeah.
Why not? Or go to a supermarket. Yeah, just get in one of the fridges. Fuck off.
Yeah. I do like a fridge aisle in hot weather.
You like what, sorry?
I do like a fridge aisle in hot weather.
Just to give you the
on like massively hot days, if you go shopping and like it's air conditioned, it's amazing. And then you step back outside and you remember that the world is on fire.
Do you have good air conditioning in your car?
No.
No?
No, I never have.
It's like, that's quite good.
I got used to it. The point, like, I got used to not having air conditioning, or not having good air conditioning anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah, same. And then I got air conditioning. It was like, oh, on a long drive, this is quite cooling.
Yeah.
It's quite good sometimes. Also, make sure your heating's turned off, if it can turn off. That's another piece of advice. Turn off the fire in your house.
I want a boiler that never turns off.
I want a flame that will never go out. And will just constantly fill my house with boiling water.
Yeah.
That was the NHS guidelines. I did look elsewhere because I was trying to see whether I didn't know whether if I wore wet clothes whether it would actually technically work. Because some people have claimed like have a hot shower, you know.
It's the same as sweating, isn't it? You'd think.
What, wearing wet clothes?
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Like it's a heat
sweating.
sink. So your skin, you sweat so that your skin gets wet. The water absorbs heat and evaporates. Right? That's how sweat works. So if you wet yourself, like, then it should do the same thing.
Swimmers don't sweat.
Yeah, they do.
But they do sweat. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they're already surrounded by water, is it the sweat? Is it the water coming out? I don't know. But my point was, if you wear clothes and you sweat, it's better for you if you take off your clothes, as I discussed last week, because then that helps evaporate it. Otherwise, it's just a heavy, dense thing that's covered you. So it's like, oh, maybe if I wore this, it would just get worse. But no, you just do it in cycles. Then once you warm up, soak yourself in a hose again. Yeah. But some other advice from another website is put your bed in the fridge. If you just before you go to sleep, take all the sheets off your bed and put them in the fridge or the freezer just for a few minutes. Freeze your sheets.
What a waste of time.
Just, I don't know, like, in theory, yeah, sure, I guess it's cold. Cold goes down.
It will be warm again by the time you've got it back on the bed.
Exactly. But maybe it'll make you feel better. I don't know. But anything that helps, I guess. Just
get a fan, and if you don't like it, get a bigger fan. Like,
I've got a massive fan. Well, I've had to go to hosing down. I don't know why you can't just hose yourself down. Seems like it's inhumane. It's what they do to prisoners and water torture, I guess. But if you do it casual water torture, it's fine, isn't it? Did you watch the Ozarks?
No.
Or Ozark?
No.
Ozarks. I can't remember. There was a moment in there, and it's a weird thought to have, but it makes sense to me. In that there's been a phase where a lot of shows have been trying very hard to wedge in or to create a really good, strong female character. Right? And sometimes it works, but sometimes it's like, it feels like this is kind of forced. Yeah. And it feels that this is kind of strange. In the most recent season of Ozarks, or I forget what it's called, Ozark or Ozarks, the lawyer is just like, this is exactly how it should be written. This is a very strong character that doesn't necessarily have to be male or female. It's just a strong character, and then they've added on the female aspects to it. Yeah. Whereas before, in a lot of character creation, when I've watched shows, they've just been like, we need a female character, so we'll put a female character in, and then we'll try and make it work.
The fact that they're female has nothing to do with their strength as a character.
Yeah. Whereas in the lawyers in season 2 as well, but the most recent season 3 was like, it was just a really good character and had some really good moments that didn't matter whether she was male or female, but the fact that she was female added other elements to it that they explored quite well.
Right.
So it was really good. And yeah, they had a few good moments in it. It's not really a spoiler, but I've talked about being so wet clothes. But like basically the character was asked like, how's your work day been? And then she has like flashbacks of being water tortured, and she's like, rough, it's fine. This character and just loads of little moments like that. It's like, yes, this is just a good character. That's not determined by anything else. That just popped into my head. Anyway, have you been to Buxton, Steve?
Whatever.
Recently.
No.
Yeah, apparently there's a highly toxic corpse-filled lake that people want to go swim in.
Oh, the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah.
It's called.
Yeah, they dyed
it's
Sorry.
black.
Yeah.
Yeah, the police every year dye it black to try and stop people from swimming in it.
What?
Because it's apparently a very lovely blue colour, but it's filled with death.
It's an azure, like an azure blue. So it looks like tropical water, like you're on a nice beach somewhere in the Bahamas or what the fuck ever.
Yeah, but it's just acid.
It's just chemicals seeping into it from the nearby mines. Like stuff that they use to mine, and there's needles all over the place. There's a couple of cars that have been sunk into it. Yeah,
corpses.
It's a nice thing to sit by, sort of, as long as the area is cleaned up. But a lot of people have gone swimming in it, and it's like, you're fucking mad. Like, your hair will fall out, which doesn't bother you and me, but it would bother them. Like,
it's a higher pH than bleach, apparently.
Yeah, it's not good.
And this bank holiday weekend, police had to break up many a picnic of people going there and swimming in it. And just people. And then people are saying like, oh, it's the government trying to control us. It's like, well, it's the police trying to keep you alive.
Yeah,
and they're
trying
like,
to stop you melting.
And they're like, oh, they just want to break up these parties during the pandemic, and they're even dyeing it black. I mean, that's evil. It's like, they do that every year to try and stop idiots.
Yeah,
you prat. Yeah. Families went there. People going for picnics. It's like bathing in bleach. I mean, I'd swim in a lot of random places, but a place filled with old cars and animal corpses.
Yeah, that's
Seems
the thing.
Quite strange.
I wouldn't swim in that. I wouldn't swim in a canal. And canal is just regular water, but it's usually got trolleys and all kinds of shit in it. Like, we've both swum in rivers and lakes and the sea. Like, everyone swims in the sea, so that doesn't seem weird. But people don't think a lot of like swimming in lakes. It's like, you can just go swim in a lake.
Depends on the lake, I guess. Then it's got to have some kind of... Well, it might be cars and feces in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can have a quick check, ask somebody. But there was big signs saying this is the most dangerous water in the world. In the UK. Sorry, the UK.
Oh, right, okay.
Big sign. Most dangerous water in the UK. People just swimming in it.
With a thumbs up next to it.
Fine.
Like, world record.
Yeah, we killed more people than any other water in the UK. Hooray!
Buxton.
Yeah. Oh, shit. 15 minutes. We've got 15 minutes.
Until.
And then it's the weekly clap.
Oh, great. I haven't heard it for a while, actually.
Well, this is a nice segue into
my windows are open
next
now,
article.
so
you're going to hit this here?
Maybe we'll hear it.
Could do. But yeah, this I was just looking, there wasn't that much news this week, so I had a quick look around to try and find something. And they're cancelling the clap. This is the last one tonight. And
Who is?
There's no more official claps. The people who organised the clap,
right.
No more. They say you can still clap if you want in your free time in an unofficial capacity, but there's no more claps.
We don't endorse any more of this clapping
that we've said you should do.
Yeah.
But it's a weird reason, and it's a lot. I've seen a lot of this during this whole thing. There's loads of people getting political about stuff. And I just don't know that world, right? But I think they're upset. They're upset because they think that by clapping, it's useless. And in fact, what they should be doing is giving correct PPE to frontline health staff. And you go, yeah, they should definitely be doing that. But that doesn't mean you can't clap. You can still do this.
Can you?
There's still a
can you do
positive
both?
coming from this.
And also, why should Mary next door be giving PPE to people instead of clapping?
Well,
she's retired. Like
she's out of the PPE game. She did all she could. But I think it's because politicians started clapping every week. And people have seen that, or at least these organisers have seen it, and said, politicians think that clapping is enough. Well, if we remove the clapping, then they're going to start paying nurses more and giving PPE. Well, and it's just a weird, it's a weird, it's a when you think you're doing something incredible, like that self-adulation, right? You're clapping, like, well, I clapped this week, so I've done my part. And they can only do it for about 8 weeks. And then they go like, well, I'm tired of clapping now. Yeah. Can somebody else just please give them some PPE so I don't have to fucking clap? It's a weird mentality
People
about it.
People didn't carry on clapping because they had no support. They carried on clapping just because they fucking felt like it. And they've got nothing else to do. Yeah. It was never, we will clap until Gina gets a face mask. Like, it was never, it was never that kind of shit.
Yeah, it was just to show appreciation, but I think people can only show appreciation for so long. Well, they can only put that effort into it for so long.
I can only appreciate this a certain amount.
Publicly.
And, and then my appreciation will just wither and die like an unwatered radish.
So with all that set up, I'll read through the article or skim through it because there were some other little things. I just find it's just a strange one.
Yeah.
I think the person who created it, I can't remember their name, but they said, even though I've lived here for 17 years, I've got to know people I would never have met. It's basically brought love, which is the key thing to all of our lives. So now we're going to cancel it. As well as appreciating carers, the clap has brought people out onto their balconies and allowed them to meet their neighbours, even helped organise measures like cleaning stairways. Frank Chalmers of the Lissenden Gardens Tenants Association, fair enough, said the weekly ritual has been very good for the community and they've promised to go out with a bang this evening. As in, this is the last one, so they're going to clap really loud.
Clap more than ever.
T minus 12 minutes.
Yeah.
He says many residents now feel it's the right time to end the clapping. End it.
Because people are fucking bored of it now. Oh, we're doing it again.
Well, it's not mandatory. You don't have to do it. You can just go out and give a clap. Even if you're the only person in the street, even a different time of day, you can go out and give a clap. It's fine.
Yeah.
But they fear that it could become politicised. This clap could become politicised. Which, again, I've tried to understand it, and the only thing I can think of is when politicians have been seen outside clapping, they're going to point it and say, see, I am caring about the NHS. I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
Which is a really weird way of thinking, I think. Could be true, but it's a weird way to think. I'm going to show that I support the NHS, and if I actually give them equipment or if I increase their salaries, that's a negative. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to clap. You'd be like, no. Obviously, people like it when you appreciate the NHS. So why don't you go to further strengths to appreciate them more?
Yeah.
Money and corruption and politics. It seems silly. Cancel it.
It's like the poppy though, isn't it? Like you'd never catch a politician dead, not wearing a poppy come November.
Yeah, it's a weird. And I guess that would be called politics, right? It's not like a cultural thing.
No, it is a political thing because it's not as much about how they feel as it is about how they're seen.
This means I don't have to go into detail about how much I do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Little shortcut, I guess.
Yeah.
People have... Oh, and the clap has also brought along some criticism because of victory in Europe. Apparently had loads of parties in beaches and broke loads of social distancing.
Yeah.
So they're saying, how can you clap if you then go to a party where you break social distancing rules or something like that? So it's a weird contract you've signed by clapping outside your house.
Right.
It's another name and shame thing. It's
how can any person be a weird mess of contradictions? As though that's
Don't be a complex being.
Yeah.
Just do little bits. Yeah, let's give more PPE. They said the clapping might drop off, but the public support will not dissipate. Well,
Okay.
It's showing your support by clapping. It's a weird thing to say.
Well,
Miss
yeah.
Plass said that we were welcome to continue the tradition. 8 weeks of doing this or something like that. And the tradition said she planned to keep meeting her neighbours on Thursday evenings.
All right.
Keep on doing this tradition that we've ended.
It's been 8 weeks, and I am proud to say I've not done it once. That's my tradition.
Well, they're thinking about making an annual thing, an annual clap.
Why?
But then I guess there's minute silences, right? Every year, like dedicated minute silences
to dedicate the people who've died and to stop and think about it. That one feels more ingrained, and I think it's just because it's always been
grew up with it.
Yeah, it's always been a staple of tragedy. Like
it's people just being quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Wait for
and
the
you
bell.
all get to scowl at the guy that's not doing it.
Outsider. Get out. So yeah, there might not be much clapping going on after today. And there should be a really big clap or something like that. Yeah. In lighter news, a glider pilot crashed into the ground. I just found it funny because I didn't know there was a glider club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's like a Minecraft club and there's like a bridge club, like Bridge the card game. There's not like a building a bridge club. And there's not like We Fly Gliders club. But apparently there is. I didn't realise. But in case you don't know, gliders don't have engines as far as I know.
No.
So for them to go for a flight, they're towed to another plane that takes them off. And then in mid-flight, they break the tow and they're meant to glide all the way home.
Yeah. And then it works like a paper aeroplane. It just
basically.
But you can steer it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this one couldn't steer. So when the tow was broken, they just kind of just went down.
Oh.
Which is tragic, but I can just imagine that day being in the plane ahead. It's been like, oh, well, that's a weird oh God, no.
Well,
because you killed them, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how you would feel. I detached them and they died.
I might be wrong, but I don't think a glider pilot can. Well, no, that sounds wrong. Well, can alter their altitude. Like, I think they're stuck going down on the same angle. I don't think they can. They can do like a dive or something. I think they always drift down.
Must be able to turn, obviously, and you'd probably be able to get some height, maybe. But there was a malfunction, basically, and everybody knew about the malfunction as they were going out, but they weren't able to communicate it to either of the planes.
Oh.
Which is brutal. So they were just watching this guy go up and well, it's not going to be good.
Oh.
Steve Evans, 54, suffered serious injuries. Oh, sorry, he did survive the crash temporarily.
Oh.
So he was around, I think it was 5 days, but he crashed nose first into the ground.
Christ. How do you survive that?
5 days, yeah. He died 5 days later at Cardiff's University Hospital. But, I mean, maybe he wasn't going very fast, but you'd say emergency velocity, terminal velocity or whatever. But, yeah. Well, there's people who've fallen out of planes and survived, right? Because they landed on anthills. Maybe they scratched into an anthill.
Or just
Glider Club members. Glide. Glider Club members assisting with the launch had signalled that the takeoff should be aborted, but the message didn't reach the aero tow tug pilot. So I think that's the plane ahead.
And they're not on a radio. They haven't got their phone on them or anything.
No. Look at their phone. Bring it
Hello?
up real quick. You think, but it's loud in a plane, isn't it? You might not hear your phone.
Yeah.
You would expect a radio.
A text.
Stop signals were not heard or seen. So I think basically they're saying there was a malfunction. How often do you check the traffic lights at your gliding club? I don't know. Climbed rapidly. Stop signals were heard or seen, with the glider becoming airborne and climbing rapidly before the tow cable was released and the aircraft's nose dropped. They've now got new signals. That's good. That's good. It's good, but not for Steve Evans, unfortunately. Yeah. Accidents happen, and it is tragic. And especially planes, like, it's A plane is basically a car. How many times has your car made a weird noise and like sputtered or stopped? Imagine if you were in the sky at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a piece of engineering.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, if this propeller stops or if this lever doesn't open properly, then, well, everybody's dead.
Yeah. You're in a situation where a bunch of people know that you're going to die before you do.
Yeah. You're like waving at them and they're like, oh, no. You're like, oh, no one comes out to wave. So yeah, tragedy in Wales from the sky. I've got one more article, which I just find funny, but it's understandable. It's just the idea. Charity shops are afraid of the amount of donations they're going to get when they reopen in a couple of weeks. Exactly. Charity shops who live off donations are afraid of getting too much donation. And there's a number of reasons for this. It does make sense. Like, I think all the donations they receive, they have to put under 72-hour quarantine to, like, have it put aside and no one go near it, and then they can open it. So it's just an issue of space. Like, you can't have that much stuff inside a small charity shop building. Yeah. So they're going to try and work it out. But, yeah, they're afraid. They are terrified. People coming in with, like, clothes and stuff. Ah! Terrified. Yeah, so that's all my news articles. It's all me for this week.
All right, I've got a few. A man is facing a $7,300 fine for wrestling a bear at a Polish zoo, and for breaking the rules by not wearing a face mask.
What if that bear coughed on you, Rick? I mean, what was his prize money for the fight? I mean, if that was more than $7,000, he might be all right. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. 200 grand. I'll pay the fine.
He was just a pissed guy that climbed into the bear enclosure. It's the first day they'd reopened the zoo in Warsaw, apparently. Spokesman for the zoo explained that the man was lucky that Sabrina was the only one in the enclosure at the time, saying that
Sabrina the teenage bear.
Yeah, well, no, okay. Sabrina the quite old bear actually. She used to belong. Wrestling. She used to belong to the circus and is accustomed to the presence of people, but she absolutely did not expect a human attack.
What are you doing? Fuck off! Fucking hell! Put your face mask on! Fucking rude bastard coming and waking me up.
Tonight on Bear News, famous circus act Sabrina, the middle-aged bear, was attacked by a human.
By a non-mask wearing bastard drunk human.
Yeah. And while other bears are exercising good use of like PPE, this maniac.
Did it happen near Durham? I guess that's the whole Dominic Cummings thing.
Oh right, yeah, no.
Visiting, attacking bears,
Poland.
Visiting Specsavers. Wrestling. You reminded me. Have you seen anything wrestling related to other podcasts, like specific podcasts? There's a thing, again, like what I mentioned before, Your Mum's House with all their other plot lines. Tom Segura started a war with the WWE. I think it's an E now, isn't it? Not F.
Yeah.
And it's all jokey jokes, but he's basically started insulting wrestling fans, and wrestling fans have responded. And he's like, but just doing about it, it's just done so well. Like, he's gotten cameos from Ric Flair, and he's now Mystic Rick. That's his character, and he's challenging all these wrestlers to fights. He's got Ric Flair's got my back. It's just like a cameo video. He's like, I got my signature move, the turkey slicer. What's that? Well, I just throw turkey at people. Fuck. So maybe something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
Sorry, interrupt.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I finally watched Ball Hog last week.
Oh yeah.
For some reason it felt a lot tighter than when we saw him live. I think there was other stuff that maybe he was trying out when he came over here. like maybe new stuff. I don't know.
He was sick cohesive when he was coming through Europe.
Yeah,
but it was just as good. Still good. Yeah, it's good special. It's good special. Have you seen much? You haven't watched much. Your Mum's House. Have you watched any Two Bears, One Cave?
No.
That's another. Just Tom Segura's is fucking on fire. It's
is that with
great.
Bert?
Yeah. It's another good podcast to check out.
Yeah,
it's all really good. And then I found loads of other. This whole. So I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
We mentioned it last week about Joe Rogan went to Spotify, and how the anti-Joe Rogan fans are really strange to us anyway. Not because we're huge Joe Rogan fans, just because it's really weird to be an anti-fan about something, and then to try and throw flack at them. Like there was a post someone shared in one of the forums, I think it was a podcasting forum or something, about how Joe Rogan feels gross about accepting this deal. And it's like, so why even offer? Why would you accept it? Why don't you do this? All this vile comments on it. I opened up the article. The first thing is he doesn't like telling people about the money he got for it. Yeah. Because loads of people are unemployed, people are on benefits. It's like, it feels gross to boast about me making this great financial deal.
Yeah.
So it's like, just read the fucking article. So many people.
It doesn't feel gross about going exclusive. He just doesn't like to brag about money.
Yeah.
That's two completely different sentiments.
Exactly. But that's what happens when you're just looking for anything to attack. So and I was surprised at how viral it went. And so many YouTubers came out reacting to his deal, and reacting in really strange ways. And I don't know whether it's just how people think. There's a YouTuber that I don't like. I can't remember whether you like him or not. That we've covered some of his articles before. But he's like, Joe's probably going to end up making less money out of this, so he's obviously made the worst decision possible. You're like, well, it's not all about money. If you've got and I don't want to feed into it, but apparently the minimum amount is $100 million. So it's that plus, could be more, could be a lot more than that. So it's like, how much money do you want?
Yeah.
Like, if it's not everything's about money.
But let's assume that he lost money. Going up. Like I don't know exactly how the deal works, but assuming he hasn't got to abide by YouTube's strict fucking censorship and what's it called when you're referencing things, fair use, and completely anti-fair use rules that have his stream disabled anytime he references another video. It makes sense for him. It's great. So maybe I'll make less money. I've got more freedom to make the show that I want to make. But that's if he does make less money. Take the money out of it. Yeah. If what he wants to make is a better show, then he's now got the power to make a better show.
Or just less stress.
Yeah.
Just make it easier to do the show that you want to do. I've said already in this episode that we suck at social media, and I would prefer if we didn't have to do it. I would gladly pay somebody to do our social media. If it was like, okay, at least then it's done. I don't have to think about it because I'm already doing X, Y, Z. It's just if it makes the show easier to do, it doesn't have to be about money. But loads of people are just analysing, you could have made so much more. Oh, well, sponsors and oh my God, all this. But again, it's clickbait, isn't it? It's just people going crazy about it. But I was surprised at how much reaction we had to it. I mean, on that about YouTube, I've got an idea that I want to start doing creatively of another weekly, much shorter show that's kind of but that I'd like it to be completely free of danger to I can just put movie clips in this, I can just play songs in this. So I've been well, all right, it would be kind of related to the podcast, but you go well, for safety reasons, I don't want the podcast to suddenly be flagged and be taken down. So if I was to do it, I'd probably just set up a whole other channel. So that if it does get banned or whatever, it was fun to do, and it's gone now, but that's okay, because we can still do other things. There is a risk with YouTube, because it's a monopoly, really, and it still is until Spotify get their video servers up and running, which apparently they might be, but it's not easy to find, at least.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. Non-monopolies are a good thing. There'll be more venues to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's And they're getting stats wrong and just fucking like, oh, he does 10 episodes a week, doesn't he? Yeah. Well, if he's doing 10 episodes, it's like, no, he doesn't do 10 episodes a week. Like, and then that's affecting their figures, and they're like, well, we'll get all those fans. So each episode's 3 hours long, right? No, but keep going. It's 10 hours, that's 30 hours a week. That means people who are watching for 30 hours a week, they'll come to us instead. Your weird logic maths is a weird thing. About?
Why? Who are they?
The viewers of Joe Rogan's YouTube show, they're not going to watch him on Spotify for whatever reason, is what they believe. So therefore, they'll be on YouTube at that time, and they'll have something to watch. So that if Joe's not there, they'll watch us, right?
No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, well, it's just even if it was how it worked, it's a weird way to analyze this. It's just
because
it's bigger
if
than
they
what you're
go
thinking
there
about.
to watch Joe, and Joe's not there, why would they be like, well, I guess I'll just watch this guy instead.
Something else. Yeah. It's just it blew my mind. But I guess it's just it sounds hipstery, but it's like I think I don't know. I think a lot of people look at the world in very specific ways, and I think you and I, we don't look at it in that exact same way about, well, what's the gossip on this then? Or, well, what's the money? Is it more money? I don't know. It's like, who cares? It's more interesting for chaos, and that is kind of chaos, is Joe Rogan's told YouTube to go fuck themselves. Yeah. Not really, but they no longer have Joe Rogan, so it's like, well, change. This will start change, right? It's interesting. If I was the god, I wouldn't do this. If I was mayor, I would do this. There's another kind of weird thing.
Great.
People's reactions to it. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be interesting. It's going to be because of the situation I'm in right now. I want to make a show that's like a 10-minute condensed, more newsy kind of thing, like the podcast, but condensed down to 10 minutes. I won't do that on our channel because they might delete the channel. Never know. Yeah. So the more options people have, the better. Stop freaking out. Sorry, tangent over.
Anyway, that guy's got 20 hours a month community service for the foreseeable future, and he's also been forced to promise that he'll give up alcohol. So,
I can't drink. Why not? I start wrestling the local bears.
Yeah. Not the strong ones either, the weak old ones.
Yeah. What was the fight like? I mean, it sounds like he didn't die. Like
no.
Injuries.
So like, well, she's used to people. So like he jumped in. There's video of it. He jumped in the enclosure and he was standing on top of this little mountain thing, just like looking about. And then the bear was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And the bear
I didn't order food this quick. I thought it was going to be another 20 minutes.
The bear darted towards him. And he was like, oh shit. And then he dived off the side of the little mountain into this lake. And then the bear was just kind of like looking down in the lake at him. And then the bear jumped into the water. And the guy started like put it in a headlock and started like climbed on top of this bear. And like the fire brigade came and they got him out, but like he didn't get hurt at all. The bear didn't attack him at all. The bear was just fucking like curious because she was an old bear and she was used to people, and she hadn't seen people in ages, I guess, because the zoo had only just opened. Like, oh, hey, someone come to give me a free meal and maybe have a chat.
Tony, how's it going?
Yeah, and then he's got her in a headlock and pushing her underwater and shit. He's like, oh, I just want to talk. But they said that she was in distress and she was just kind of like sitting in the water, like growling and shit until the zookeepers came and were just like, hey, it's all right. Like, oh, fine then. And then she just went back. But so apparently, like, because the bear didn't do anything, it wasn't a bear attack. It was a human attack. And it classed as animal cruelty.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Bears. It's weird that people get violent when they're drunk. Well, not weird, but I can't relate to it. I've never really gotten violent when I'm drunk.
Well,
have you ever been aggressive?
No.
I can't remember.
No, not when drunk, I don't think. To be fair, though, looking at it, he wasn't being aggressive. He was doing what you'd do if a bear was next to you. Like, if a bear came up to you...
he didn't realise he went into a bear enclosure?
No, he did not that. Like, he did. It's just he didn't run and try to hurt or attack the bear. He tried to get away from the bear, and the bear approached him, and he was then cornered, or he cornered himself or whatever by being in the water, and the bear jumped in after him. So he like grabbed onto the bear and started, I don't know, choking it out. Or
so maybe
whatever.
he just didn't think about the consequences of getting into a bear enclosure
because he was drunk,
and they was like, "Oh shit, there's a bear."
The zookeeper said if they've got two other bears there, two younger ones, and if they'd been out, like he'd have been fucked.
Yeah.
Like they'd have just destroyed him. And the fucked up thing with bears is they don't kill you before they eat you. They just eat you. Like they kill things by mauling them, and like they just hit you until your bones break and you can't move, and then they eat you. They don't. It's not like a cat where they choke you out first. Like
it's like a bear version of Gordon Ramsay's masterclass, isn't it? Where they just show their children, this is how you make a really good human steak or human soup, depending on where you buy them first. Rip out the intestines.
Oh God.
Now, look, I know you guys have seen that Revenant shit, right? But no, it didn't happen. I knew that guy, he's subpar, he got no Michelin stars. Camera crews and shit.
In other news, a dead man has returned home a month after he was buried.
Oh, God, I've had a rough month.
I can't remember exactly where it was. I think it was India. I might be wrong. This guy was buried by his family and showed up again. They were like, "Oh, what the fuck?" He said, when I came home, they all ran away in shock. Yeah. I had to come back with the police to tell them what happened. I might be the first person who saw his own grave. Yeah. So apparently he disappeared when all the lockdown restrictions went into place, and he was traveling at the time, and he was unable to travel back. And they were called into the police station.
Just dug a grave.
Well, they were called into the police station in the meantime to identify somebody else, and they were like, "Yeah, that's him." And they all had a funeral. So they buried this guy thinking it was this other guy, and this guy got home off his trip. They're just like, we buried you, you're dead.
So I don't remember it. Fine, it's cool. I wonder when he realised, when he got home and his family were terrified of him, or like he read it in the paper that he was dead.
Yeah. Oh, I died.
Walking by the cemetery. Oh.
Yeah. It's still unclear as to how this confusion took place and who exactly has been buried.
It's a whole other second season right there. There's a lot to do about
that. An airline that resumed flights to Italy didn't realise that the airport that they were going to was closed, and they had to turn around and go back. They sent a whole plane up there, but granted, it only had 2 people on it, and they got pretty much all the way there and radioed the airport, and were like, "No, we're closed." I'm like, oh.
Big deal. But we're in the sky, you're on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, can we come down? No. Doors closed.
Yeah. No vacancies.
Yeah. You turn it back on again? Nah.
Yes.
It's like it's the transatlantic equivalent of like when we took taxis to supermarkets at uni, got dropped off and found out that they were closed. Like, oh, we'll order a taxi back then.
Yeah.
Back we go.
Took a total of 4 hours and 10 minutes for the passengers on board. 730 miles. Just travelled there, travelled back. Oh well. I don't know why you wouldn't check before you leave.
Check if the airport's open on the way back.
Yeah. Like, if you're going round to see someone, you'd be like, "Hey, I'll be round in half an hour." Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're not there, when you show up, that's your fault, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it's your problem.
You just don't open your door.
You didn't tell them you were coming. Why should they have been there? You can't just have them always, particularly at the minute. All the airports are closed. I'm sure that one's open. Do you want me to check? Nah, it'll be open.
Nah. Yeah, that'll be fine.
And finally, in sad news, Hitler's alligator has died.
Oh,
survived the Battle of Berlin, and he's died in Moscow Zoo.
Well, don't phrase it like that. He didn't survive the Battle of Berlin. Wasn't like ducking behind cover and fucking. It was just on a lead or something, was being taken out, or in a box. Get out. And it survived. It had a few close calls, but it managed to bayonet someone on the way out.
Saturn was the alligator's name. Saturn had a long and varied life, the zoo said in a statement.
Say what you want, but life at the top of the Nazi regime for an alligator is amazing.
What a fall from grace. To end up in this shithole behind enemy lines.
Yeah, he got to witness the invasion of Normandy. He's just sat there, looking out the window. These people coming up the beach. I wish I was at the beach. These people around me have some pretty strong political views. Chilling out. It's watched the world change. In 2020, it's finally died.
They said in a statement, Moscow Zoo had the honour of keeping Saturn for 74 years. He knew many of us as children. We hope we didn't disappoint him.
We hope we didn't disappoint Third Reich Alligators. The price of upsetting the top Nazi alligator. Oh, you don't want to piss off Saturn. Get out.
Yeah. The zoo dismissed the story of Saturn's alleged provenance, saying even if he belonged to someone in theory, animals are not involved in war and politics.
The conspiracy theories about this alligator's political views and strategies.
Yeah. Like, if I'm racist and I own a dog, my dog is not a racist. My dog is just a dog.
That alligator knew some amazing pincer movements.
Yeah.
On the battlefield.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Hitler's alligator.
Wonder if they were close. That would make it funnier.
Yeah.
But it's probably like given as a gift. You know that people in power get gifts.
Yeah.
Just never really see it. Oh, you have an alligator now. Great.
Yeah.
keep it at the holiday home. Crocodile in the eagle's nest. Soldiers protecting it. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's me this week.
Cool. Oh, did you check out Kevin James?
No, not yet.
Kevin James. Powerful. Is it? Oh my God, his name's really escaped me. It is Kevin James, right?
It's Kevin James. Yeah.
Kevin James, King of Queens.
Paul Blart, Mall Cop, that guy.
Yeah, and he's always been pretty funny. But his YouTube channel is incredible.
Mm.
It's just so good, and it's a similar idea to what I'd like to play around. That's why I got a green screen like 6 months ago. Just haven't set it up. But he's got so many great sketches in it that are like 2 minutes long, and it's just like, this is so perfectly done.
Yeah.
There's some that are hit or miss, but there's some that are so fucking good where he's just put himself into like famous film scenes as like the sound guy.
Yeah.
And he's just like I'm just quiet on set, please. And like, I don't know, an example would be, who was the guy who lost his mind on the Hollywood set? He was Batman, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah.
Yeah, that massive rant at the sound guy. In fact, I think I've heard there's some lights going off in my head, and then they might be related. But it's stuff like that where he's just like really well filmed and stuff, and written, just reacting to it and just be like, and talking about it. Well worth the watch. Yeah, Kevin James stuff, especially his I Am Legend and You've Got Something on You or something like that. I think it's called, with Tig from Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Well worth the watch. Very, very funny stuff.
I'll have a look.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think Hitler's Alligators probably going to be in the titles. Just don't judge that alligator by its experiences.
No.
All right.
No.
Fair enough.
It didn't know who it was eating.
Yeah. Or just, yeah. I don't know. It's gold. That's what makes me question the reality of the world. You'd be like, I can't understand how you could take life this seriously when Hitler's alligator survived the Battle of Berlin. They must just, again, it's what I mean about this thinking in images and cartoons. You go like, that's so hilarious. But I guess some people just don't. So you had an alligator, who cares? It's like, this is real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, fun times.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm, as much as I don't like social media, I still, and not because of any Ribena milk or chocolate gatto reasons, but I feel like I need to figure out how to use it anyway. I'm at Nick Snip.
I am at Sing It Steve.
Yeah, we're at Pulling Teeth Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and we're at Pulling Teeth Podcast on Facebook.
Yeah, you can email us at wisdom@pullingteethpodcast.com with your questions and comments and anything you want to send us.
Anything you fancy.
Anything.
And then we've got the website, www.pullingteethpodcast.com,
Yeah.
which has all of our videos. If you don't want to go through the YouTubey stuff, you can just view them on there.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you can find us on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff. If you listen to us on those, you can find us on YouTube.
Yeah, we're everywhere. And we've got an Amazon banner if you would like to show support for the podcast and you buy something on Amazon anyway. You can just go to our website, pullingteethpodcast.com, click on the banner in the top right, and then continue to do your shopping. And if you buy something, they give us a little kickback, which is quite nice. It doesn't cost you anything. More just doing it for interest. Interested to see what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fun times.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.